let's let's talk about hashtag Gamergate. Now, let's do a little background for those of you who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. About 2 or 3 days ago, maybe four, a little while ago, the um Arthur put up a book called Roughed Up by hashtag Gamergate. And in this erotic fiction, I haven't read it by the way, so I don't know like what happens in it, but this is what I've heard. Maybe I'm wrong. Is that in it a video game developer with a name eerily similar to someone that we all know in the Gamergate community, in the Gamergate movement, gets roughed up, tied up, and gaped, I guess, by five guys. I wonder who they're talking about. But anyway, and has a lot of rough sex, in this little ebook. It was put up on Amazon, and Amazon promptly took it down. Now, when people found out about this, because this is the internet and word spreads like wildfire, I mean, information is carried on a beam of light. I mean, that's how my voice is getting to you right now. When people heard about this, and of course they did, there were all types of cries to take it down, denouncing it. That you had the people who are anti-Gamergate saying this is a call to rape Zoe Quinn. You see how we saying all of you Gamergaters are all about harassing women, blah 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 blah. And on the other side, you had a bunch of Gamergaters going, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is horrible. Take this down. This doesn't represent us. This doesn't represent the movement. This isn't written by anyone who, you know, is a part of the Gamergate movement." And they were right, because it came out about a day later, I guess, that this ebook was not written by a Gamergator. It wasn't written by the stereotypical guy in his basement wanking off and thinking about how luscious how luscious Zoe Quinn's lips are, or whatever the fuck these people think that people in Gamergate think about. It was written by a woman who knew nothing about Gamergate, who only tangentially knew about it, saw it as her muse, I guess, and as a source of inspiration for this fan fiction that she wrote. Now, I'll say this: I'm not sure why this being written by a woman matters, because in my opinion, it doesn't. And this is where I get pissed off. And this is the only reason why I'm talking about this, right? And the Gamergate side of things, you had a lot of cries to censor this, to take it down, that it was unacceptable, that it paints Gamergate in a bad light. Oh my God, they're gonna use this to say that we're all rapists, and that they knew that we were all, a bunch of children who wanted to fantasize about destroying women in the video games industry and all this nonsense. This is where my hackles get up, okay? Because what I think people inside of Gamergate should have did is said, look, I don't think anyone who is a part of Gamergate wrote this. I don't think anyone who has anything to do with Gamergate wrote this. But even if they did, even if this was written by someone in the movement, even if it was written by a man, even if it was written by someone who has intimate knowledge of the movement and what it stands for and what we're doing here, that doesn't matter, because we are against censorship. Censorship within Gamergate, censorship outside of Gamergate, censorship general, period. All right, point blank. All right, this is one of the problems that I have with Gamergate, is that the movement to tone police people, and the movement to try to say that, oh, you're not a real Gamergator. Oh, you wouldn't say that if you were written. What the fuck are you? No. All right, you can hold two ideas in your head simultaneously and be okay. All right, you can think one thing and another thing and still be all right. All right, things are not diametrically opposed. That's not how the world works. One, I heard about this, and I went. I heard about this on Mundane Matt. He did a video on it, and he was all up in arms and riled up and yelling. Mundane Matt does that sometimes. He gets excited. That's what I like about him. But it was Christ. All this is no, dude. We're for freedom of speech, and freedom of speech means that you can have a Black Panther, a black nationalist, someone who thinks all white people are the devil, on the same stage as a white supremacist, someone who thinks all black people are monkeys or whatever. And they can both have the podium and speak. All right. I'm not for either one of those things. I think that black nationalism and black supremacy and black and white separatism, I think both of those ideas are fucking stupid, but they have a right to speak. All right. Feminists have a right to speak just as much as MRAs. Anti-Gamergate has a right to speak just as much as Gamergate. We are a movement that is for freedom of speech, I would think. That we're for freedom of expression of all types and all colors. Whether we agree or disagree doesn't matter. What matters is that these people aren't doing one of two things because they're illegal. One, calling for violence against people. That's illegal. No matter what you do. If you say I'm going to hurt you, or you incite someone to go hurt somebody, that's against the law. And two, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, right? You can't create a riot. That's illegal. But as long as you're not doing either one of those two things, then what you're saying is protected by the First Amendment. Just like me making this video is protected by the First Amendment, just like anyone else who makes a video saying that I'm a dumb asshole is protected by the First Amendment. All right. I was for whoever did this before I even knew it was a woman who did it. Before I even knew that they had nothing to do with Gamergate, I was for it because I'm for free speech. Now, if it came out that this was some, creepy child molestery guy, with the mustache and the bent over back, stereotypically, creepy guy who had wrote this because they're a creep, I would say, well, man, you know what, you're a creep, and this is creepy, but hey, man, you have a right to do it. And if it came out that it wasn't anyone related to Gamergate, that it wasn't anyone who knew anyone about it. It was a woman who wrote it. She used it as a staging point for her fan fiction, I guess, for her fictitious, romp through whatever sexual shit she's working through. And that's fine too. All right, it's okay. You don't have to agree with somebody. So the reason why I'm making this video and the reason why I think this is important is because freedom of speech, no matter who's speaking or what they're saying, is important. And if Gamergate really is about letting people speak for themselves, if Gamergate really is about freedom of speech and freedom of expression and free markets, we shouldn't say, oh, this is bad and I don't care if it gets taken down because this hurts my interests. You should say, I'm against this being taken down, period, because it limits the creativity and expression of who did it. All right, we're against censorship, all censorship, no matter who is being censored. At least I am. And a good thing about YouTube and a good thing about the digital age that we live in the 21st century, is that we all have a voice. I have a voice, and you do too. So, to the woman who wrote this, I don't care for this genre. I don't care for erotic fiction. There's a ton of 50 Shades of Grey, The Tale of O. There's tons and tons of stories written by women for women about women getting tied up. And if you're into that type of thing, then I would say if Amazon put this back up, and they may have put it back up by now, I don't know, then go out and check it out, I guess, if you're into it. And if you're not, then then ignore it, because no one's making you look at it. All right, we all need to learn a lesson from this, and the lesson that we need to learn, I think, is that all censorship is bad. And when you have the big voices in our movement tone policing other people in that movement, and tone policing things, and tone policing people in the movement, and saying that things that paint us in a bad light as people who are for Gamergate needs to be removed, or it's okay if it's removed. I think this is wrong. And I'm not pointing any fingers and I'm not saying any names, but they were people who were saying that should be removed. Just like were people saying that Gamergate needs to tone down and it can't talk so rough and we're gonna. I'm not for the yelling and the screaming and the venom that some people in Gamergate and some people outside of Gamergate are throwing at each other. But as counterproductive as I believe it is, I would say, hey man, I don't think you should do that, but you have freedom of choice. And that's just about as much as I can say about it. I'm not trying to tone police anybody. I'm not saying that Gamergate needs to do this because I'm trying to tone police somebody because I want to change the debate. I'm just saying I don't know if it doesn't move anything forward. We're going to be stuck where we are, yelling about feminism when feminism is not what this is about. It's a symptom of what it's about. This is not about that. And I have a video coming up about what I feel that all of this drama, the Zoe Quinns and the Nita Sarkeesians and the people at Polygon and Kotaku and all of these people talking all this shit that doesn't make any sense. I have a feeling that I understand where that's coming from, and I have a video coming out about that. And none of these videos are scripted. This is all off the top of my head. I just want to talk about this. But I have a video talking about that coming up in the next couple days. But for right now, hashtag Gamergate. This stupid book is stupid. We should say it's stupid. But we shouldn't be cheering when Amazon takes it down. We shouldn't be cheering about censorship of any kind. And we shouldn't be saying, oh, now that we know that this isn't someone who supports Gamergate or someone who even knew about it, now that we know it's a woman, whoo boy, now we can say it's okay. Because I was for it any damn way. I was for it 100%, whether it was by a man or a woman, anti-Gamergate or pro-Gamergate, it didn't matter to me because freedom of speech is important. It is one of the things that preserves our liberty in this democracy. So you guys, let's think a little. The reason why I didn't make this video 3 days ago when this was all coming out, because I knew it wasn't like it appeared to be. And we need to stop being so reactive. We need to calm down and think a little bit before we start posting shit on Twitter and yelling and screaming. We need to stop and think and be a little bit more moderate. And that's why I want to bring this conversation. I want to bring a voice of someone who was talked about a lot. We talk a lot about black people in this conversation, but there's not many of them that anyone listens to. And we talk a lot about freedom of speech and the call against censorship, while we're just fine with things being censored that we don't like. We're just fine with trying to stop people from speaking who don't say things that we don't like. Instead of stop going to Kotaku, instead of stop going to Polygon, instead of stop going to Giant Bomb, we wanna get their advertising pulls to shut them up. No, that's censorship, people. That's what that is. Don't you see how you're working across purposes here? So if you have anything to say, if you think I'm right, think I'm wrong, my comments will never be edited. They will never be censored. I don't care if you put racist shit in my comments. It won't hurt my feelings. I don't care, because if you want to be ignorant, if you want to be an asshole, then I want the whole world to see you being an ignorant fucking asshole. And I'm not gonna censor your comments to erase what you've done. No, let them stand in the light of day. All right. A great person once said, a great man once said, that sunlight is the greatest disinfectant of all. All right. The sunlight will show you what's really happening. And I think that the sunlight is showing us that, while I think Gamergate has potential, and I think that it's doing a lot of great things, and I think that it's bringing the community together around people saying that we're all white, and that's why I'm doing this, because I'm not white, and I'm not a cis straight white heteronormative male. I'm almost none of those things. I'm male, but that this is bringing out people like me, and I wouldn't have made this channel before this happened, but they're saying that I don't exist, and they're saying that I support things that I don't. And I think Gamergate's doing the same thing. It's kind of co-opt the voices of people. I don't agree with all the things Gamergate's doing. I don't agree with their message a lot of the times, but I agree with them in general. So let's not silence people, anyone, no matter what they're saying. Let the clean sunlight, let the sunlight shine on these people and their filthy fucking comments and their hatred and their biases, and let all the world see it. And I think that we're in a time now where the world will turn their backs on it. So, if you like what I'm saying, subscribe. If you don't, then don't subscribe. If you don't like it, thumbs down. If you like it, thumbs up. Leave me a comment. No one leaves me a comment on any of my videos. Leave me a comment. I want to start a discussion. If you comment, I will reply to you. We can have a debate. Let's talk. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about these things. All of us, everyone, anti-Gamergate, pro-Gamergate, it doesn't matter your position. As long as you can have a civilized discussion, then you're welcome. Well, that's all for me. This has been King Rex, bringing you your daily dose of truth from the empire, the empire of gaming. I'll talk to you guys later.